All of those interest rate hikes mean that this year's spring break trip might be a little bit tougher on the wallet than it has been in the past few years. Joining us now with some tips on how to make the most of your money is financial advisor Dan Casey. Dan, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
So spring break is one of those things that a lot of families look forward to each year, but it can
Yes.
be costly, especially right now in this economy. What are some of the things that you tell people so that they can try to save a little bit?
Yeah. So, of course, like with anything, try to figure out what you're going to be spending your money on throughout the year. Spring break is one of them, obviously. Figure out how much it's going to cost, and then just divide it by 12 and start, putting away money on a regular basis to save for it. Especially spring break, because we're going as well, and for our daughter, and it's expensive. It's not cheap. So yeah, you definitely gotta save up for it.
Yeah, that's something you want to plan ahead for. Part of that
sure.
planning process includes cash.
Yes.
I know on a lot of trips, a lot of people do like to take cash with
Yeah.
them, but what do they need to keep in mind as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, so, and I just got back from Jamaica too, and I wanted to have a little bit of cash on me for tipping and stuff like that, but you don't want to keep too much, of course. And depending on where you're going to go when you're there, maybe you want to get some cash exchanged, before you go at your bank, so you have some local currency. But yeah, little cash is good, not too much, of course, because depending on where you go overseas, like one study was, I guess for every million people that go to Paris, 463 report being pickpocketed. So, and I'm sure there's a fair amount that don't report it. So you just want to make sure that you don't, when you leave the hotel or wherever you're staying, don't take too much cash.
Yeah, and losing that cash on a trip could lead to even more problems. Then you're having to dip into the credit cards possibly.
Yeah, right, charging things more, yeah.
And that could bring you back with a mountain of debt that you didn't intend to have, right?
Yes, exactly. And you know what I did for Jamaica is I brought a little safe with me, one that you can lock up. And so like my passport, because of course if you lose your passport when you're overseas, that's bad news as well. But and I kept my cash there and my passports, and I don't like using the safes in the hotel. Just think that it's not as safe. So yeah, just a little one that you can lock up somewhere. And of course, if you got Ocean's 11 coming in and they want to steal something, they're going to get it. But you're just trying to stop the casual person that's coming by in your room and snagging it.
Sure, sure. All right, what about converting that money at the bank? What is your tip as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, so just try to figure out how much you're going to want to spend on souvenirs and things while you're there. And either your local bank, because like I said, they can exchange it, but not all do. So I know there's some facilities too that's all they do. And you can go in and do it. And you're going to get a much better rate than if you try to do it there. So just a little planning ahead, like with anything, right?
And with the planning process, sometimes that includes just making sure that you're getting something within your budget. What sort of advice do you give to people for that? Because I know for spring break, you can plan these lavish trips, but it's not always something that fits your budget.
Totally. Kind of like the spring break when we're going on. It was planned, for the kids, and we're like, oh, wow, we're going there? Kind of pricey. But that's also why I like all-inclusives. You know exactly how much you're going to spend. You can eat and drink all you want, and you can budget a lot easier when you're not constantly, because when you go on vacation, you're just more free with the money. So all-inclusives help you kind of curb that a little bit.
Okay, I know with summer vacations, there's a little bit more planning. Sometimes you wait for the last minute with spring break. What are some of the common mistakes that you think people make when it comes to planning any kind of trip?
I guess not calculating like how much you think you're going to spend, because it is like, I don't know if it's like me, but I get on a mindset when I'm on vacation, like money doesn't matter as much, right? So I think maybe just budgeting it, only bringing that amount and trying to stick to it and making sure you don't go crazy and overspend.
Okay, and then if you come back home and found that you did overspend,
yes,
what's that process like? Where do you start?
Right, so trying to figure out where maybe you're spending a little bit more than normal, or maybe you're going out, and again, the Starbucks, like we've talked about, or the Amazon trips, we like to do sometimes, buying from Amazon, curbing that for a couple minutes or a couple of months, and then take that excess funds and get your credit cards paid off, especially the high interest rate ones.
All right, anything else people need to keep in mind?
Have fun. That's all you got to do.
Right.
Have fun, and planning helps to have fun.
Yeah, have fun and a little planning. That goes a long way. All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank you.